This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 508 for the week of Monday, February 26, 2018. My name is Zach.
My name is Steve.
And my name is Alex.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hello.
Hi, it's going good.
Good. We also have with us Eisner Award-nominated author of Merman, Joey Weiser is here. How's it going, Joey?
Hey, good. Just hanging out with some hosts. Me and some hosts.
That's exactly what's happening.
One letter out of that, and I thought you were talking about something completely different.
Hots?
No, take the T out and then extra
Yeah.
F.
There's
Oh,
an E in there, too, I think. Anyway...
bros before hosts.
On today's episode, we're going to talk about the whole Cacao Island arc, and it's kind of a weird moment since we're maybe at the end of the Kata Curry Luffy fight as we speak. We're going to be going through kind of just the scope of the arc, where we've been, our favorite parts, favorite new characters, things we hate, things we like, things we, the whole spectrum of stuff as it concerns this arc. And I thought we'd start... we are currently... What chapter? 895 was last week's chapter. We're going to be at 896 next week. This started at chapter 825, believe it or not. So it has been, if I use my trusty calculator here, 70 chapters since the whole Cacao Island arc began. And that was back in 2016 in the manga and 2017 in the anime.
What a different place the world was in 2016.
That's true. Where do you know where exactly are we in the anime at the moment? We're just at the Jorma 66 stuff going on. I know we're past that.
It wasn't at the end of the episode.
Didn't the Tamago and Pecum's fight just happen? Or not?
No.
Pecum's,
None of you guys watched the anime. They made the decision that they're going to save Sanji's family, and they're going to team up with Beige.
Oh yeah, that was just the big moment.
Oh yeah. I've seen screenshots of Gastino hanging out in the shadows.
Well, that's from the reworked opening. I know they included some stuff that's yet to come. I believe, right? Yeah.
Shows what I know.
Anyway,
No, at the end of... Okay, anyway.
No, go for it, Alex.
So at the end of the episode, they showed, like, hey, here's what's going to happen. They're going to have a meeting, but we'll see that soon. Yeah.
Which, by the time we record this comes out, probably has already happened.
Oh, yeah. So the Viz volume of 85 just came out, and that's usually around where the anime is, and I think that's right. Because I was reading through that last night.
And this has been going on since episode 783 in the anime, and we're up to 826-ish, I think. 7, depending on when this is released. So, yeah, it's been going on for quite some time, and a lot has happened. And Alex, we haven't really had you on the show very much for this arc. Well, at least for I was going to say this whole arc, but really just over the last year or so. So I want to start with you. Just general thoughts before we start going through the whole thing again. I guess, like, if you want to put a number to it or a letter or whatever you want to put to it, you can. But what have your thoughts been on the whole Cacao Island arc?
I think has been a pretty consistent arc still. I'm starting to get a little impatient now, just because we're so close to the end, and it feels like they keep pulling that dangling carrot away from us.
Not the carrot.
Really.
Yeah. But I don't think that there have been wasted chapters. I'm having a lot of fun with it still, and everything is building up to the second climax of the arc. I was wondering actually the other day, because as watching one of the anime episodes, and they're like building up to the wedding being like the big thing, and I'm like, hey, we went past the wedding already, and that's not like the final. It's
kind of like the middle.
That was like the linchpin.
Yeah, I didn't think that it would be like that, but I think I don't know. I think things are shaping up to be pretty good. I really hope that this is at the end of the Luffy Kata Curry fight. In the last episode, I mean, you can just check my thoughts on the last episode regarding that. So that's neither here nor there. But I like it. I think I would still put it in the way it's headed. I would probably say it's probably within my top 5 arcs, maybe.
Wow.
Hmm.
That's a big, yeah. There's been a lot of arcs in One Piece, so that goes a long way. Steve, what numbers, letters, ideas do you have about where the whole Cake Island arc is and has been?
42.
Oh,
You said
nerd
numbers, and I'm like, oh, no. I guess you meant by where does it rank for me? I can't rank it for now. Is it one of my favorite arcs? It's not, but I think it's probably the most consistent and probably the best arc since the time skip.
Mm-hmm. I think that's where I'm at. Like, it's easy. I think I'm just really excited because this is the best it's been since the time skip started.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what my arc rankings were. I don't think Dressrosa.
I could get them open, but it might take a minute or two.
Dressrosa was somewhere in the teens, I think, for me. But it's definitely above that.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a lot of the creativity that Oda has again, because I think Dressrosa he tapped into a little bit, but then it kind of went out the window once. God, what crazy stuff started the whole thing? Oh, when like everyone got turned back into like when Sugar first got knocked out. I think from then on it was just a big. We're climbing up levels of a plateau and fighting arc. Whole Cake Island hasn't really been about that. It's been a lot of plot twists, zany characters, and a lot of character motivated things. Like I know like Dressrosa was a big deal, but I feel like there was really little stakes. Like all the stakes were really on on Law. Like that was Law's whole thing. He wanted to take down Doflamingo. Like Doflamingo still being empowered, Dressrosa really doesn't affect the Straw Hats so much. But then again, you could also argue that about Vivi and Crocodile and Alabasta.
I think this one feels a lot more focused than Dressrosa for sure.
Joey, how did you feel about it so far?
I'm loving it. I really like it. I'd say it probably easily cracks my top 10. I don't know. I'd have to think harder about whether or not it would get into the top 5. But I like it a lot. I think with everyone kind of starting to feel a little bit of arc fatigue, which is something I've been thinking about a lot. I think we used to I think there's a thing that fans clued into a while ago where we noticed that Oda likes to do these kind of big events around 100 chapters. And it used to be this kind of thing that everyone was like, did you know? Oda likes to do cool things on chapter, 100, 200, etc. And now that everybody kind of sees that, I think we're all getting a little wary of it with what happened with Dressrosa and feeling possibly like he's stretching this out to the next 100 mark, It wears on us a little bit.
We're pretty damn close at this point. I mean, 5 chapters is a month and a half, maybe 2.
Yeah. But but I do think that it might be just the case of how I kind of liked how Alex was referring to it as kind of starting to feel impatient just because he wants to know what happens, And I do feel like that might be a little bit of what I'm feeling, but I've never opening up a chapter and being like, okay, let's see what we're doing now. I'm always pretty excited to read the chapter week to week, and it's just jam packed with creativity, but a more focused creativity than what was going on in Dressrosa, where he kind of set up a bunch of really interesting chess pieces and then just kind of shook the board around.
Yeah. It was almost like an experiment, I have a plan, but you know what? Maybe I'll just say fuck the plan.
Yeah.
And see what happens when chaos reigns supreme.
But here in Whole Cake Island, I think it's a little more. I think his writing style is a little more at peace. That's why we have the chess peacekeepers.
Very nice.
Yes.
Sorry, I just really want to chime in on that pun.
Yeah, I can tell. I am keeping with this topic. I have to say that it's very evident that Oda's been very deliberate about everything that has been happening in this arc. Everything does feel planned out.
Yeah, and that's the thing we often knock Oda about, whether or not stuff has been planned or not. Or I should say we knock other authors about when they don't do those kind of things.
I still think one of the biggest kind of like, FUs to following the story were the exploding handcuffs.
Yeah.
I just, a part of me feels like that could have been used like in a much better storytelling aspect, where it's like they would in fact explode, but Sanji said like, screw it, I just have to, I have to make a choice.
Didn't Reiju switch them?
I think she did, yeah. Oh, I forget who put them on. Did Reiju originally put them on?
Oh.
Because Reiju was the one that put them on.
I think she might have.
She did.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she did.
I don't know. But then again, like the problem with Sanji is this whole thing is these hands,
They look like such big, strong hands.
They glow with an awesome power.
Like if Sanji, it's not like Zoro where it's saying like, oh, it's like, hey, in Little Gardens, like I'll cut my legs off. It's like we're gonna die anyway. I might have a fighting chance. It's different with Sanji.
Yeah, it pointed to a very dramatic, like a possibility for a lot of drama, but what it ended up being was just kind of like a device.
Yeah, we called it Chekhov's handcuffs, and they went nowhere. I mean, I agree. I think what I've been noticing, at least in the community, is there's definitely some fatigue with this arc, just since it's lasted 70 chapters. Which, again, we're still 30 chapters away from finishing Dressrosa. I have to check where in Dressrosa that is. Exactly.
And it's funny because I usually, whenever I talk about Dressrosa, I always say it could be 30 chapters shorter. So, Dressrosa, Cake might be the Dressrosa that we wanted.
It'll be close. Wait, so I'm trying to like find the volume in which that would have taken place for Dressrosa. But in the meanwhile, I have your top list from 2015, which I'm sure are exactly what they would be today. So Alex, just say, is it better? Better or worse than the arc I'm gonna go? I'm gonna go from top to bottom. Is Whole Cake Island so far better or worse than that arc? Okay.
I don't like to say worse.
Less.
Less. I'll say less.
More or less.
More or less. Yeah. However you want to put it. It's totally up to you. So your number one in 2015 was the Orlong arc. I don't know if that's still true, but yeah, more or less.
Less.
Water 7 NES Lobby.
Less.
You're better off starting from the bottom.
So you want me to start from the bottom? Okay, let's start from the bottom. Amazon Lily.
Ugh, better than Amazon. Yeah.
But I think that I'm sorry to nitpick this, but we'd be going through much more if we're starting at the bottom.
That's true.
That's true. That's why I was starting from the top, but I give into peer pressure pretty easily.
I'd start in the middle.
I'll start wherever you want me to start from.
Start in the middle.
Start about nipple high.
Okay,
nipple high.
Oh,
the middle, because I know I like it. I know I like it better than most arcs.
Yeah, we all agree that it's in our top half, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start from the middle. The Davy back fights.
Oh. Man, that's tough because I really love Davy back fight.
Me too.
Like I really do, and it's really really hard for me to. Shit, I don't know if I can rank this yet. Like, because I'm like shit because I love Davy back fight.
Okay. Do you want me to keep going?
It's and it's a different kind of arc. Like it's really hard for me to.
Little Garden.
I like it better than Little Garden.
Okay, so you rank Little Garden above Davy back in 2015.
Really? Jesus. What have I did? What have I done? Okay.
What have I done? Baratier.
Okay. Here's the thing. I guess I like it less. I guess I like it less than Baratier, but I probably like it more than some other arcs. Like, I don't know.
Marineford.
That's also tricky. Simply because I think Whole Cake Island has a lot more to offer than Marineford does.
So you'd rank it probably higher. I mean, obviously you can't say. I'm not like sticking you to this and writing it down. And
yeah.
Thriller Bark.
I don't know.
Steve, your list is impressively similar to Alex's.
I think I like it. I think I might like it better than Thriller Bark.
Okay, Impel Down?
Maybe.
Skypiea?
I don't know if I like it better than Skypiea.
So you probably put it around 6 or 7. I'm sorry, 7 or 8 is probably.
Yeah, I probably put it in top 10. I guess I was being I was being too excited.
Your top 5, Alex, were Drum Island and 5 to 1. Drum Island, Whiskey Peak, Alabasta, Water 7, and Arlong.
Oh, I like it better than Whiskey Peak for sure.
Why you put Whiskey Peak really? No, but I remember at the time you were like, "Why did I put Whiskey Peak here?" I think you had said that at the time. So
yeah. No, I'm very. I regret putting Whiskey Peak so high. I do like it a lot though.
While Steve thinks about his answer, for you guys who are wondering, where were we 30 chapters before the end of Dressrosa? Chapter 770. I can't read Japanese. I have that volume out right now though. Is when the Luffy Bellamy fight was just starting. The Pika Zoro fight was also just nothing in particular was happening here. Dellinger got thrown away by Hideo. Like, it's mid-fight for all these big fights.
Yeah, if you kind of compare in your mind Luffy fighting Bellamy to Luffy fighting Kata Curry, it's a very kind of different...
It was in the... Well, he hadn't even started fighting Doflamingo yet. I mean, that was still a ways away. And Zoro hasn't even fought Pika at this point. Really, the big climax of that fight was still a few chapters off. This was the Hyruden and whatever Machweiss. That was the end of that chapter, the big ending, which I'm sure you all recall very well. All
I remember about Machweiss was some hubbub about whether or not he had a tail.
I mean, if you're willing to wait another... In 5 chapters was the Senor Pink flashback. That's which ends that volume. So there was still a ways
the high
away.
point.
Yeah, the high point of the... So if you were hearing books dropping, that was me looking that up. So Steve, higher or lower? Punk Hazard.
Higher.
Dressrosa.
Higher.
Baratier.
Ooh.
I know.
I have a lot of sentimentality with Baratier. What's above Baratier?
Davy Back.
Oh.
It starts getting really similar to his list.
Like, here's the thing: nostalgia is a powerful tool.
Yeah.
And
so take that part out of your brain.
It's really hard. It's because One Piece is all about that shit.
All right. Let me just play along and say, hey, I like Whole Cake Island more than Baratier and Davy Back.
Thriller Bark would be next.
Really? I rank Thriller Bark higher?
Yeah, I know. It's only a couple years ago.
I definitely like Whole Cake Island more than Thriller Bark.
And you had Shabati after that. We have to do a new one of these. I said we would do it probably in a couple more years, but
Shabandi's really good.
These are already.
But it's only been one more arc.
I think. Well,
Exactly.
I think I do like Whole Cake Island more than Shabandi. So.
Marineford. This is a real thinking pause.
I think I like it. I like it more than Marineford.
All right, so we're in your top 5. Drum Island.
Ooh.
No, well, I mean, if it's above Drum Island, then it would be in your top 5. Otherwise, it would be number 6.
This is tough, though. Drum is really good. Drum's a really good story.
I had Drum at 3, for the record. I really like Drum.
I think Whole Cake Island, you're the big engine that could, and you've done a good job. But I don't think you surpassed Drum Island.
I think one of the things that's like really great about Drum is that it's like so powerful in its simplicity,
and it's short.
Yeah, exactly.
Your top 5, Steve, were Drum going 5 to 1. Drum Island, Alabasta, Skypiea, Arlong, and Water 7 Ennius Lobby, which I'm sure are probably around the same for you.
Yeah. Me.
My list, I would definitely redo parts of. I had Dressrosa really high.
Thriller Bark so high.
I think the thing is now Dressrosa's kind of become a punching bag joke for the podcast. So I'm like,
and I don't hate on Dressrosa.
I think it's because we were doing the podcast every week for 3 years about the same story, and that gets kind of taxing.
Yeah.
Even if the whole thing was great, 3 years is a lot, and we're entering our 3rd calendar year for Whole Cake Island.
I think I would agree with Alex. I think I'll get a little bit impatient because I read 895. I'm like, all right, that was a great looking action-packed chapter.
What's next? So yeah, I think Joey. I don't even think you were like as big of a part of the podcast at this point. I have it from Brian, though, and I think you were here.
Because I had done ranking episodes before then. I think I just couldn't do it. I was like, this is too weird. to rank all the story arcs. I think maybe now I would be able to maybe sit down and be less committed to it. But.
The thing is, I was probably planning on doing the next one when the Summer Olympics in Tokyo happen in 2020, sometime around then.
Yeah, I think it seems like it makes sense to do it when there's more than just one.
I mean, depending on where we are in life.
Yeah, unfortunately, these days One Piece arcs are very long, so it's not like we get like a few more in.
Yeah, we've only had two, to put in perspective, 2 arcs since we last did an arc ranking in 2015.
Oh, yeah. I guess I wasn't thinking of Zoe.
Zoe is an arc I love to death. I really am a fan of Zoe. Whole Cake Island, I have a lot of fatigue with this arc, but at the same time, I totally agree with Steve and Alex. I think the pieces have been put together perfectly in this. Like, this is really a chess game that Oda has laid out from the beginning.
What's that sum of its parts line that Ed always uses?
The whole is
greater than the sum of its parts.
Yeah. I don't remember Ed ever saying that, but sure.
He says it all the time. But
anyway, let's actually talk about the arc a little bit.
But is Whole Cake Island as a whole cake?
The whole is greater than the cake of its parts.
So Steve, you said this arc would end at chapter 888. Alex, you said yeah, what? Go ahead.
Oh, so I've been out of the running for a long time.
You're way out of the running. Alex, you said it would end at 892.
Yeah.
You also been out of the running.
Yep, it's true.
Joey, I never got a number from you. Probably
I never participated.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
I said jokingly at the time, this was December 5th, 2016, 901. Which,
our winner.
Yeah, right now, we're at 895. Steven would be our winner. Then Sam, after that, and Kelly after that. So there's still a chance for them.
What are their numbers?
895, 897, and 900 respectively.
Oh, yeah, I think it's pretty close. Like, I do think he's gonna wrap it up around 900. Yeah. He's aiming for that 100 mark.
I don't know, boys. I don't know.
But after that, it's basically me. So
So no one's a winner.
No one wins. There were still people who guessed. We had the people in the comments could guess as well. I want to see if anyone guessed any higher than. I don't really think we had anyone higher than 901.
Wow.
But I haven't gone through the whole thing yet. Oh,
we were drunk on Zoe.
There's a 908.
We were optimistic.
Oh, there's a 908, a 914. Look, I'm not going to rule those out at all. Those are very possible. A lot of people are out of the running completely, though, who were in the 800s. So let's talk about, before I guess we get into Whole Cake Island, Totoland has been a pretty cool place. Let's go through the islands and our thoughts on each of the islands we've totally visited.
Wine country.
Wine country. I guess let's go through the more obscure ones. And I'll ask, do you want to visit it or do you not want to visit it? Fruits Island. Steve, visit?
Zach.
Yes.
Every island is food themed.
So yes.
Like I don't have any food allergies. Why do you think I wouldn't want to go to any of these? Hey, Steve, would you want to go to Cacao Island? Chocolate Town? No.
Okay, fine.
No. That sounds gross.
This is one of the instances where, like, Usopp's excuse for, like, not wanting to go on an island would actually be, like, valid, like if it was allergic to peanuts or something.
Yeah, that's me. I'm the allergy guy here.
Oh no!
It's like I have a can't eat peanuts disease. Oh, Usopp, that's the biggest lie you ever told. And then Chopper's like, actually,
Usopp sets foot on the island, dies.
He gets hives.
All right, fine. Then just choose an island that you would most want to go to. That might be a little bit harder.
I'm a chocoholic. I drink chocohol. I would love Cacao Island.
Alex.
But mix that in with Nuts Island. Get a little bit of that.
Do you want me to go through the actual islands?
I would need that because I need to figure it out.
So there's the Whole Cake one. cacao, jam, nuts, cheese, biscuits, candy, milk, flavor, liqueur. Well, I don't even know what to take from that.
That's what's his name? Island.
There's Kata Curry's Island, which they have the Japanese one on this, which I forget the English name. I have to look that. There's a bunch in Japanese that I gotta. What? Flower? Was it Flower Island? There's also jelly, ice, which we believe means ice cream, and fruits.
Flavor, huh? Flavor Country?
Flavor Town.
I am very curious about what that would be.
It's cigarettes. It's Flavor Country.
Well, then no thanks.
There's also Wheat Island.
American Chef with the flame shirts.
And Fluff Island. There's
Guy Fieri?
Guy Fieri, yeah. Guy Fieri is totally Flavor Island.
That's Times Square Island. We have Applebee's and Sbarro without,
What? I'm going to say Flavor Island. Because, like...
Guy Fieri could totally be a Charlotte.
He's the closest one.
Charlotte Fieri.
Biscuits Island also sounds good because biscuits actually means cook.
cookies.
Yeah.
Any Joey?
Those are the two I was interested in, flavor and biscuits. But I was thinking like Southern biscuits. But yeah, I'm just very curious what Flavor Island even is, and it sounds pretty awesome.
I mean, I probably have to cheese or wheat. Kata Curry's Island with the giant donut. I mean, I'd be there in a second.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I didn't give a shit about what I was eating, that's where I'd be.
I mean, the thing is, like, Chocolate Island and all this sweets stuff, like, sounds super great, but I know I would just be, like, sick. I would just be nauseous immediately after eating, I don't know, someone's house or something.
But that's why Kata Curry's is so great, because it has donuts, but also has baguettes sticking out and, like, a lot of other assorted stuff.
Yeah.
What's Kata Curry's Island again?
I believe it's called Wheat Island. I don't know if we have I forget what the official English.
I would get smashed at Liqueur Island, and then I would sober up at Wheatville, or whatever the hell it's called.
Wheatville.
Wheatville.
Interville.
Eat a bunch of starch so it absorbs that booze, so then I could wake up feeling fine.
And then go back to Liqueur Island and then repeat.
Somehow find yourself on Cheese Island.
I don't see why there has to be a Milk Island and a Cheese Island. I feel like it's like are these two different things? Because there's cheese on Milk Island in the picture of the Milk Island. Wait, and what does Cheese Island look like? Sorry, I'm doing this on air. I think those are the same place.
I think Cheese Island seceded from
Milk Island. There was a whole civil war going on there. It was pretty brutal. Okay, so let's actually talk about the arc, and the arc has mini arcs within the arc, and I'm going to totally go with the One Piece wiki titles because they're ridiculous. Some in good ways, some in funny ways. And we're definitely going to start with the first one, A Hard Voyage Encountering Germa 66. So do you guys remember everything that happens? Do you need a slight primer of the very first part of this arc?
I mean, just in general, I was very excited when Germa 66 got introduced.
Mm-hmm. Well, we were all
because they seemed very cool and very menacing, and it was kind of an exciting peek into one of our sort of main characters' backstories and stuff. Seemed like it had a lot of promise.
And they were Sentai fighters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I bet the majority of One Piece fans were just putting all their chips on them being like a mafioso looking family. So it was just so satisfying to see Oda go somewhere completely balls to the wall different.
It was pretty great.
And then they get the fire tank pirates already like the mafia.
I was gonna say, we still got that. We still got the mafia.
And they're great.
Yeah.
Man, I really enjoyed the extended backstory of Beige in the anime.
That was cool.
That was awesome. I love Beige.
We'll get to Beige soon.
Yeah. Beige is also, he's best supernova #1.
Okay, we're skipping all over the place already. And we just are starting. What did you think of the Germa 66 stuff at the beginning, Alex?
Screw Hawkins.
I like the Germa stuff. I was super excited to see that they were Sentai, and if you recall earlier episodes, I was like, man, I hope their hair is color coded to match their suits, and then they were. So thanks for listening to me, Oda.
I don't know,
not Steve.
I don't know if I'm on board with that. I kind of like the colored hair, but at the same point, I kind of wish they were all blonde.
I mean, they would have been all blonde if they weren't modified genetically.
What was the term they use? The bloodline elements. That's what it was. Where the hell did I pull that out from?
The colored food dye.
That's what they use.
Yeah, and I like how that...
Sora, inject this blue food dye into your veins. No! They're babies!
The thing I kind of like about that is that it actually ties Sanji closer to Judge than the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Germa 66, I guess we could talk about at the end how it's... Or we could talk about that now, how that's resolved. I mean, we're going to come back to that storyline.
We still have to see them again.
Exactly.
Yeah, at this moment, the most disappointing thing for me in this arc.
Yeah, I agree.
Judge?
No, Germa?
The whole Germa thing.
Yeah.
They could really, like, I'm getting my hopes up a little bit because they still have yet to come back, but I really want them to have Zords.
Yeah.
Remember when we thought they had this like huge ulterior motive and they were very crafty, and it turns out Judge is just an idiot.
Yeah.
The next
Judge is not crafty at all. It's like, oh, Sanji's gonna marry Pudding, and we're actually gonna just take Pudding, and just everything's gonna work out just fine.
The next part of the arc is Cacao Island, as put in One Piece Wiki. The Exploring Toto Land, Big Mom's Unified Paradise. We also get Big Mom's song and dance number in this, the Croquembouche, Jinbei turning the wheel but everything being fine, and also meeting with the Fishman Pirates. And we get that, the chapter with Germa 66 we did forget is the Broccoli Island stuff that before we even meet
No thanks.
Oh yeah.
Ichiji and Niji. Yeah.
Oh, I think that's called Seducing Woods.
Broccoli.
We're almost up to that. It should have been. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on the Cacao Island stuff and that kind of intermediary part of the arc?
Well, we're introduced to Good Pudding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Good Pudding's fine. I like Good Pudding.
I don't know if I could really talk too much about Pudding until much later. I love that Big Mom all singing, all dancing. And I think I was talking about Alex last night. I was like, I'm really looking forward to see if we do get up to Whole Cake Island in the dub, where they're gonna who they'll cast as Big Mom, because I'm thinking they might look into like casting someone who's very experienced in
singing
in like the theater community.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Like, I didn't know it was a song and dance thing until the anime. I didn't know it was supposed to be a song.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to tell.
They had the little note things.
I think Sake was just them just reading paragraphs in the book. Everyone turn to page 3.
Choose your own adventure.
Jinbei was a pretty huge surprise at the time. It's hard to remember that that happened.
Jinbei was not only a huge surprise, but the wheel thing was also a huge thing because people were like, shit, what's he going to lose? His top knot? An arm?
His eye.
Yeah, like...
There's been a few big red herrings. We've talked about some of the stuff with Germa 66, the stuff with Jinbei. What's the one thing we were just talking about then? Oh, the handcuffs that never paid off.
Yeah, I feel like there's like kind of two different levels that Oda works at, and there's the sort of things that he's concerned with that are exciting from week to week, and then there's the things that are what he's really thinking about within the arc. And I think it's just, when we're analyzing things week to week, it's hard not to get caught up on the stuff that maybe he didn't think was that important, but he kind of wanted to have a crazy cliffhanger or something,
We also meet 2 Charlotte family members that we'll never forget. Charlotte Moscato, Minister of Gelato. Rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlotte Praline.
Oh, she's awesome.
Hi, Angel Pie.
Oh, yeah. Shug.
The one we kind of forget about, but
Nancy Gribble.
Great.
Yeah, she is such a Southern belle in my headcanon. She looks like Pippi Longstocking with a long fish stocking and sharp teeth.
Pippi fish stocking.
So we should probably now talk about everyone's favorite part of the arc, Big Mom's Soul Nation. That's how they put it. Struggle in the Seducing Woods. So the Seducing Woods portion of this, where we see famous characters like Randolph the rabbit, Charlotte Brulee. We do get the confrontation between Vince Smoke Judge and Sanji in this part of the arc. And we get
not satisfying because I really want to see Sanji kick his ass.
Yeah, and we also get there's stuff with Caesar and Big Mom, and Charlotte Cracker is how that kind of ends there. What did you guys think of that part of the arc?
It's definitely its lowest point because it felt like the whole point of this section of the arc was to stall Luffy, and that's just what it was. I always have to like check myself when I say Randolph because I feel like I'm gonna call him Randall, which would have been a funnier name.
Go sexy Randolph, the Pharaoh wizard.
The Pharaoh rabbit.
I've
wizard.
been calling him Randall.
Oh my god! I think someone accidentally called Kuwabara from Yu Yu Hakusho Kerbopple. I've been calling her Kuwabara. I always thought Cracker's initial design was really cool, and I remember vocalizing my disappointment when it was when actual Cracker was revealed. But then he got purple hair.
You love purple hair.
I actually like Cracker a lot more. He just looks crazy. I think that's part of me why I like Bellamy so much. He just had that crazed look in his eyes and just like the really evil looking smile. And I remember I really trashed his Devil Fruit power too because I thought like, oh, how convenient. The boy named Cracker has cracker powers. But it wound up being a very entertaining fight. I liked the Cracker fight. I do. And even Nami got some time to shine. Nami kind of did some dastardly
she does a lot.
burgling that she does. And she was great. Nami's been really good this arc. I felt like while Punk Hazard really had some nice moments for Nami that people I think kind of gloss over, this was a great arc for Nami. Where she hasn't had like a one-on-one fight or anything, but she's helped move things along so much, and she's aided Luffy and her other friends a lot. But and then I think this also introduced us to Brulee, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you kind of like never can guess who's going to be like important and who's not at this point in the story. And so I definitely thought of her as a kind of one-off character who had a cool... I liked Oda going for the sort of horror aspect again and kind of making her really scary and creepy. But like, she's gone in kind of fun places from there.
Well, she became a story device. I mean, that is basically all she is at this point.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing, I guess, but she's, like, oh, how are we going to get person from point A to point B? Where are they going? I mean, the Mirror World as a setting has been interesting and weird, and it definitely fits in Oda's, prototypical, like, how does this work and how do the rules of this world work? We also forgot everyone's favorite character who gets shot all the time, Peckham's, who was shot by Beige, again, off of a cliff into a thing of sharks. And
this is where we met Pez.
Pez. Well, and I guess got reintroduced to Beige and realized that something's going on in the shadows. We'll talk a little bit more about that later.
Did we make a joke about fun being a Pez dispenser?
No.
Oh, I just did, so boom.
Okay, so any more? I agree with Alex. I'm sorry, Steve, with the seducing, with Cracker and the Seducing Woods thing. I think I liked that fight. I thought it was really creative. I just felt like it was really stalling for time. That's kind of how it felt, and it didn't really make sense since it was the very beginning of the arc. But sometimes that's how shonen works. We also had Pound, the introduction of Pound, and the Gentleman Crocodile. More importantly,
no. Steven had a really good name for him. What was he? The
Tocodile.
No, that was
Aristocrat.
Oh, Aristocrat. Yeah. That's what it is. God, I can't remember all these people. Any other Seducing Woods thoughts?
Nah, it was fine. It was
Alex,
fun.
do you?
Yeah, we're past it at this point.
We are
So-
definitely past it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was getting a little hairy there for a while, but it was fine. Yeah.
So we'll go to a family reunion. Sanji's loyalties tested. So this is the stuff really happening with Germa. We talked about this a little, so we don't have to go too far into it. Including the part where Niji throws a plate at the cassette, right? And that's the head chef.
Cassette, not cassette.
It's a cassette player. Yeah, what else happens in this part? We get the flashback with Sanji and his family. Sanji reenacts Robin's childhood when he runs away, and Reiju's like, "You have to find friends. You'll find them eventually."
Get out of here, you dumb animal!
Yeah, that's kind of happening simultaneously with some of the seducing wood stuff. Plus, when Luffy and Sanji are reunited, we had that emotional fight between Sanji and Luffy. And I'll say probably one of the highlights of the arc for me is that fight and him leaving and crying secretly in the carriage. And it ends with Sanji pronouncing that he will marry Pudding. What do you guys think of that portion?
Actually, this is where I think I have even more issues with the story. The whole stuff with Cosette, I'm really disappointed it didn't go anywhere.
I forgot to say also Vegapunk and the whole thing with Judge and the clones that we see later. There's a lot that happens in this. Yeah.
Clones, damn good ones too. The thing with Cosette, I think it was a little it was very dark because then she winds up getting brutalized. And I think it was like Yonju was like, "Yeah, I was telling Niji, you want me to take you to him?" And Sanji's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna kick his ass." And then Yonju's like, "Check out some clones instead." I felt like it almost made it seem like, and then it was like, oh, so it was Niji. I thought it was gonna be this weird twist where it was like Ichiji that did it, and I'm thinking he's like top tier brother, he's the strongest, and Sanji's like shit, like.
You're overthinking it, I think.
I think so. Like, I don't stand a chance against him. It was a little lame. But no, my problem is with Sanji's flashback because I feel like it's inconsistent with the young Sanji that we're introduced to in the Bratier arc.
How so?
Because Sanji's whole character is, oh, he's so kind. Oh, he's the kindest boy. He makes food for mice. He makes sure he makes sure everyone eats. He doesn't let any food go to waste. Oh, he made food for his mommy. But then first introduced to Sanji in the Bratier flashback, he's throwing away food and he's giving out to his coworkers who are eating leftovers, saying like, "Oh, just throw that stuff away." And I think this whole thing with Sanji being kind, I feel it's just really inconsistent with his character because he has a very short fuse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's not about him being kind. It's him wanting to protect others more than anything else. It's not like,
I guess so,
Sanji's kind. It's Sanji wanting to protect others is consistent with his character. That's how he's always been.
I think the character we were exploring is that he has no self-worth, but he cares more about other people than he cares about himself. Like, he's willing to be brutalized and put in a terrible position for the sake of others. And they kind of beat you over the head with it at times, I think. And by they, I mean Oda, and how it's portrayed. And it also, I do agree with Steve, I feel at times feels inconsistent with the past character we've seen. I mean, maybe just his stuff from Fishman Island kind of taints Sanji as a character for me generally. But that stuff, it was good to see kind of a return to form for him. I think the Sanji-Luffy fight it's
really good.
It's really good. It's really well done, and it's definitely one of the highlights of the arc for me. Steve, what were we gonna?
Yeah, it was handled really well in the anime. Very emotional sequence, well animated. The anime did a really good job with that fight in that moment.
Yeah, that part is I think the most emotionally connected I am to this arc, like the one that affected me the most. it was pretty moving. Sanji holding his head in his hands and crying and stuff. So far, that's probably the part that stands out the most to me of everything in this arc.
It's funny because I forgot that happened. Even though I love it so much, it's just so much has happened in this arc. Let's move to the next part, unless there's anything else you guys want to add.
Nah, that's good.
All right. Push to the limits, the retrieval team's relentless fight. So this is once, I believe, Luffy and Nami are basically obliterated here. And Brook and Pedro, meanwhile, go to steal the poneglyph. We see the library, which I hope we see. I guess we'll never see that again because we left Whole Cake Island. With all the weird creatures that Big Mom was collecting.
Close your eyes.
Brook's fight with the chess peacekeepers and Big Mom. We also have the stuff going on in Mirror World with Chopper and Carrot and Brulee, and Pedro and Tamago's fight. I think there's a lot happening there.
This is where we find out that Pudding's evil, right?
I think, yeah, sure. Let's end with around that. Yeah, evil Pudding.
I'll say this real quick because I really have nothing else to add. Pedro versus Tamago was a highlight in the anime for sure. There was the one particular episode that was so great. It was just well paced, well directed, great animation. Definitely one of the highlights of the anime in this arc.
Alex or Joey, any thoughts on this part?
Yeah, it's fun. Jinbei showing back up again was the highlight for me.
Yeah, it's just definitely more like kind of world building of the giving us these settings of the library and the mirror world and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, this was Brook's moment. Brook was, I think, pretty damn awesome with his what was that giant soul lightning thing that he did? And just taking on Big Mom and being really the only one being able to harm Prometheus and Zeus is all pretty great.
Yeah, I think we were expecting pretty great things for Brook from this arc, and while we still haven't gotten any sort of like crazy weird flashback to his days as a guard or whatever, like he's stood out a lot and has really shined. I don't know what he's been great.
Yeah, I agree. And so then there's the pudding reveal. And now that we have a little more perspective on pudding, I don't know if this is the time that you want to talk about or if you want to wait until the third switch. Or the fourth or the fifth. Which one do you... We could wait to talk about pudding. I do think that was a great moment for Sanji, though. Kind of witnessing that whole thing. That scene really sticks out to me.
It's just so funny, us going so back and forth, debating whether or not we were having good pudding or evil pudding. And I think when we were just about convinced we had good pudding, this happened.
Yeah,
it's so funny to then go back and reread those old chapters, and it seems like crazy obvious that she's evil pudding.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's just very well written.
It is. And I mean, I think we had... There were definitely members of this podcast, I can't remember if I was included in those, that were very skeptical about pudding immediately and through that entire portion of the arc.
Well, at first I thought when I was watching this part in the anime, I thought it was just a huge plot hole with, the whole, I don't want to make this wedding hell for you or this marriage hell for you. And I'm like, I feel like this is just like a red herring, but I realized that, the whole point was to convince Sanji to go with the wedding and not run away so that they could go through with killing the Vinsmoke family and taking their assets. It all makes sense. Like it's more obvious in retrospective now, but I think they wound up doing Oda did a good job with like hiding this character's motivations and their true nature.
All right, we can move on. So we go to a race to a reunion here, the truth about the wedding. So once we hear about what happened with Pudding, we kind of get Jinbei free. We already kind of discussed Jinbei freeing everyone. Reiju and Sanji, kind of that reunion. Luffy punching his way through everything, meeting Reiju, and then eventually, I don't even remember. He jumped out the window, and Sanji comes back later and sees him. A lot of the fights that we were talking about are kind of going on consecutively with this as well. And meanwhile, the Big Mom pirates are trying to figure out what the hell's going on. We find out Brooke stole all the poneglyphs. And we kind of have a regrouping. So basically everything up until we have the alliance with the Fire Tank Pirates. Which kind of... It even felt like Oda trying to sweep things together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's lots of little things going on, and you can say, oh, he's trying to get all the characters back in one place. I don't know if you guys have thoughts on that whole section.
Not specifically.
No. Mm-mm. I mean, there weren't any super standout moments except for the one that just happened in the anime, where Sanji and Luffy have to make amends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good part, for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the Fire Tank Pirates and the whole alliance there. What are your guys' thoughts on them and the plan as had originally... Do you remember the plan, first off?
Yeah, the poison darts.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was to shatter the image of Mother Carmel. She goes into shock. Her defenses are down. Shoot her with the poison rockets. She dies. They run.
Yeah. And we get a Big Mom flashback, which I think is super important.
Well, you're jumping ahead. This is just the alliance with Beige, which I was super excited for. Well, because I thought that Beige was kind of going to turn out to be the true villain of this arc, of like trying to take down everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, he totally wanted to take down Big Mom, but he's going to be your ally, which I thought was crazy. Mm-hmm. And I thought this was also going to blow up in their face because I thought he was still going to betray them. And while he's not...
Didn't we think at one point Big Mom was a potential ally even? Like, we weren't sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, they're not going to fight her. They'll make friends.
But now Beige turns out to be the sadistic murderer with a heart of gold.
He's a family man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the family guy.
He's a family guy.
Yeah. He's the family guy.
That's definitely like the sort of general feeling I remember from this is feeling suspicious of Beige.
Yeah.
Whether or not we could trust them.
And I mean, you also have we could go straight into the wedding itself, which has a cool cast of characters we hadn't seen, including the Underworld
bosses.
Yeah. Oh, Gangster Gastino. We almost forgot to mention our favorite character.
Mm-hmm. Great new character. Can't wait to see what he's up to.
Yeah.
Kata Curry was first introduced at this portion in the arc. And we also get people like Compote, Daifuku, Oven, Genie Weenie, the whole group, the whole shebang.
Come on, Zach. You know you want to mention someone that was introduced at the wedding.
Big News Morgans?
Yes.
Yes, of course. I mean, he's the star. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on the wedding up until the ceremony, I guess?
Well, this was like the big hyped up thing. We were all pretty damn excited for this. We thought this was going to be like the huge, like where the big battle takes place, far from it. But I think we even said at the end of last year on the podcast that the wedding portion of this arc was definitely a huge highlight in the manga.
Yeah.
It was just chaos, but in such a great way. But let's talk about the controversial moment with Sanji complimenting Pudding's eye and that kind of...
Oh, you want to just go straight to the... I just want to say that all the wedding from here on is definitely my favorite part of this arc. I was super engaged. But we'll go through the whole thing, though. You want to talk about...
So that's why I like
you
this
are
part
super
the most.
Engaged.
That's true. This is the part of the story mode. Story mode. This is the part of the story mode I love the most. This is the part of the story arc that I love the most because everything had built up to this. regardless of how we felt about stuff that came beforehand, everything kind of slowly led to it and kind of came together here. There's still ends that we have to tie up a bit, like how Sanji is going to factor into all this, but of course we haven't gotten to the part where he makes the new cake. The introduction of the Underworld, I think, is extremely cool and important, and a huge highlight that a lot of people might forget about. We get Stussy and
John Catsimatidis.
Dufeld.
Party of Four. Dufeld.
Like the fact that we see another portion of the One Piece world that we haven't seen really.
Yeah, and like out in broad daylight. Like we've seen them like covered in shadow to the point where you can kind of be like, well, we don't know if this is going to be a real character, or if this is just kind of a shadowy figure that Oda's using as a placeholder or something.
Right.
But now we like really have these characters that can add more and more to the story and to the world.
And a wedding is such a great place to kind of bring these like extraneous elements kind of together. It was a really good, it's a good story device, I think. So yeah, let's talk about crashing, or even before crashing the wedding. I guess they were kind of simultaneous. Sanji, the execution not working, the original execution plan, which was putting to, what was it? Who was actually shooting? Pudding was going to shoot Sanji.
Yeah.
And someone else, I'm trying to remember who tried to.
What's his name? Juggalo dude.
Oh yeah, the executioner guy.
Well,
No.
The rest of those kids were gonna surround the Vinsmokes and shoot them.
Juggalo dude.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm Montour,
right. And Perospero did his long "You're all gonna die" speech, and that lasted.
He like trapped them in candy or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're gonna die now.
It's gonna take a couple hours, but you're
Stop
gonna
them. They're supposed to die.
And meanwhile, the wedding becoming chaos, going after an emperor's head. Here we have Brook smashing the picture of Mother Carmel, and the real wedding crash begin. This is also Luffy, the many, many, many Luffys jumping through the cake. Jinbei saying, "I'm no longer part of your crew." This is like everything to like really piss Big Mom off in like 2 chapters. It happened.
Yeah. It's like getting all the worst news all at once.
Yeah.
that has to be like one of my favorite like ends of a chapter is Brook breaking that
with the Luffy
that frame,
balloon?
wearing the stupid Luffy mask and like
oh yeah,
man,
like
it's
I
so
think
good.
I think I said. Oh, sorry, Joey.
Oh, it's just such a small moment of him just kind of like pop cracking this thing, but you know it has such huge ramifications. It was very exciting.
I think that chapter, that was my favorite One Piece chapter last year. It was, and yeah, ending on that note was perfect. Like I said, it's so subtle, yet it has so much weight to it. Oh yeah, I hope the anime does that scene well.
Yeah, so the whole wedding crashers. Any thoughts?
Yeah, this has been it's the most exciting part. It's just everything happens all at once. There's no filler really. Nothing filler about it. Bunch of really great comedic moments. The Straw Hats are all decked out in super awesome threads. We finally get to see everybody back together, kind of. The flashback is one of the darkest things I think they've ever done in One Piece.
In Elbaf, yeah.
Yeah.
We get to see Elbaf finally.
And you could definitely say like, oh, this is such a random place to put in this flashback. I thought it was very appropriate. It was very entertaining too, and it wasn't even that long. How many chapters was this flashback? Like 3?
2 and a half, I think. Yeah, it wasn't very much. And we also had the Great Warrior Pirate Captains. What was it again?
Was it Dragoon and Red Mantle?
They have Jorl and Jarl, but I don't think that's correct.
Beardfall and
that's what it was. Beardfall and
oh yeah,
Jarlsberg.
Charlesburg. Isn't that a place?
mean,
Sorry, I forgot. It's Beardfall and
Beard Rise.
no.
One shall beard rise.
It's
One shall beard fall.
Mountain Beard is the other, like the technical Beard Hill. Beard Hill.
Beard Hill.
It's according to this, that was the Viz translation. I would never have remembered those names.
Seriously, they're Dragoon and what's
Red Mantle.
Red Mantle. They totally are.
But I love that we get the Dory and Bogey exponentially older and also badass. It was really cool to see, and that a 6-year-old Big Mom is what took one of them down.
Odd,
yeah.
Oof.
And that Mother Carmel wasn't actually a saint, or I guess a nun.
No, she was like,
yeah.
She was a character from Pinocchio. Like,
yeah. Oh God, yeah. It won't be coming back.
And she was negotiating with CP0 at the time, is to sell. And we found out much later that it was John Giant. It wasn't John.
No, his name is my name too.
What was it originally translated?
June
as?
Giant.
June Giant. Yeah, but that was Oda's.
Yeah,
kind of flub there. Anyway, that whole flashback, and then she eats a bunch of orphans. It's all fantastic. I mean, at least going through the manga recaps for those chapters, I'm like, we're reading a part of One Piece, that's going to be important for years and is going to stick in my head much later. Like, whether or not it did or not, it felt like a really important moment in the series.
So I just realized something. At that moment, we kind of get confirmed that one of the ways to get a devil fruit power is to eat the person that has a devil fruit power. Right? Like,
well, we can all assume that Mother Carmel died.
Yes, inside of Lin Lin.
But
therefore,
it's possible she might have died, and then there was also fruit at the table because she was eating a dinner or lunch or whatever that was, and then maybe she
semla. She was eating semla, which, as far as I know, doesn't have any fucking fruit in it.
No, maybe it was an appetizer or a dessert. There was additional dessert.
There happened to be a raisin on the table.
Oh my god. Oh god, that's super funny. Yeah. A raisin. Regardless, you know how they say that, like, oh yeah, if you eat a devil fruit, and you have another devil fruit power already, you'll explode or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, if Wapol successfully ate Luffy,
oh yeah,
do you think he'd explode?
Well, then again, the inner workings of Wapol are very different because he
eats his bro dudes, right?
But then, like, he spits them out, and then they become really one homunculi.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Jinsohegan.
So, like, there might be a difference between eating Luffy to, like, get his powers and then eating Luffy and passing him through his digestive system.
Well, we wouldn't know unless we had that Dragon Ball Z filler arc in the Boo saga when Sanji and Chopper go inside Wapol and find Luffy strung up because Wapol had absorbed his powers.
Oh man.
So yeah, any more thoughts on the flashback?
Yeah, it was really good. It was
that part of the wedding. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the flashback.
So Big Mom pops out of her, spell, and the crew and the Alliance fails to take her down in that time, and we get Big Mom versus Big Dad, and the escape, which has been going on since, if you could believe it.
Big Daddy
and Big Mama.
Look, Big Daddy, it's regular Daddy.
We get some really cool scenes, including the Germa double 6 spread there. If you recall, with the super action font and the Sentai look.
Go, Vinsmoke family, go!
And the toppling of the cake, which includes the Tamate Bako box, box actually exploding. And taking it down, and we finally.
You've been waiting so long. You've all been so patient.
What do you guys think of kind of the falling action of the wedding portion of the arc there?
Super great. Mm-hmm. Loved it. The box breaking open as a result of comical bungling I thought was super funny.
From Stussy, who it works for Cypherpole Agent Zero.
Well, no, it wasn't Stussy. It was
it was
Dufeld.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dufeld fucked that up.
Well, Dufeld fucked it up, but Stussy is working for the government, and she knew about it.
Also, I forgot how utterly defeated all of the good guys were in that moment right before the box explodes. I mean, everyone was just gone. If not for fate intervening there, or Dufeld intervening there. Yeah, and then when they get down the cake, everyone splits up again. Capone goes his way. Caesar we have not seen since, but I hope we do see before the end. And
who?
Oh, Gastino. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Who knows of his whereabouts? Possibly he's going to pull a Robin at the end of Alabasta. He's going to be on the ship.
I'm on the crew now, guys. No, you're not.
Let me join your crew. And it just cuts to them, and then the next scene is them throwing him off the boat.
That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah.
I would die.
All right, so from here on in, we have Big Mom rampaging, and that's all that's been happening, essentially. So they go basically back in the order we just went in. So they go through the seducing woods again with King Baum, who sacrifices himself, putting in her magic carpet ride, Pedro sacrificing himself, and probably dead. I mean, I could only assume dead, right?
I'll wait till this arc finishes.
To join the long cast of characters deceased.
Like Bellamy and Papaya and
Pagaya.
Pagaya, sorry. Pagaya.
And Papaya.
Pagaya.
Papaya.
Papaya.
Papaga. I'm Papagu.
Papagu. When he sacrificed himself valiantly.
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of ironic that I think most of the Bellamy pirates are probably dead and Bellamy's the only one still alive?
That's definitely something. They are all dead, right? Didn't they confirm
things that
it?
make you go, I think, no, it's not confirmed. It's just applied that they didn't go up the way of the knock upstream to Skypiea. They took the easier route, but the more dangerous route.
Right.
And he said he lost a lot of crew members, so
they're dead.
All
Is
right,
what you're saying.
Rivers.
And so this
might
is
just not know where they are anymore.
And this is the point where the Luffy Kata Curry fight starts. Believe it or not, it's once they leave the seducing woods and escape on the Thousand Sunny. And meanwhile, Sanji and Pudding bake a cake. It's as innocuous as it sounds. Jinbei becomes the helmsman, let's say.
Oh yeah, an awesome moment.
Really awesome moment.
Tidal
there.
wave thing. Yeah, that was so cool.
Kata Curry reveals his true self, and by that I mean he is a huge fan of donuts. We'll talk more about the Kata Curry Luffy fight.
He likes to lay down.
He does. He sometimes likes to sit down. He turns, that's
lay
fine.
down.
Lay down, whichever. And we also find out that's Nuts Island. And we have the stuff that's really Nuts Island. With some great battles going on there.
Yeah.
Some not Godzilla, King Kong moments. And I guess also Godzilla.
King Kong climbs things.
Yeah. I guess more King Kong. And we also have the stuff that's going on with Oven and Pound on Cacao Island.
The sea slugs are gone.
I mean, we're really coming back up to today, and the Sulong transformation with Carrot.
Rayleigh probably sings like Reba McEntire.
I mean, at this point, we're basically back where we are. The Kata Curry Luffy fight has been going on in the background for this entire thing, though. What have you thought about this? It's really hard because we don't have perspective yet on it, but on this portion of the arc.
I was talking with Alex about this on Twitter the other day, and I think that like that moment where Kata Curry is revealed to be like a big fan of donuts and loves like sitting on his back and is totally a sub or whatever, like was a good, like that's the moment that I finally liked him. Like up until then he was kind of boring to me, and now he's really a One Piece villain because he has like a weird quality about him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's when it got me too. Donut House. Like before that, he just seemed like, oh boy, we get another Lucci, like a stone-faced killer who is going to have shitty backstory.
Yeah.
And just seeing him, fight with Luffy's been great. It's been really satisfying lately, because knowing that he is a little weirder and the fact that they have sort of mirror powers in a mirror world is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luffy actually has been thinking about it. This entire arc, he's been fighting himself.
Yeah.
Like
in Mirror
Luffy.
World, he's been fighting his mirror self.
Yeah, and in the Seducing Woods.
And well, no, I meant because there's the mirroring of.
Well,
being
how
in
so do you
Mirror
mean that
World.
with Cracker then? Oh, just put the with all of his like mirrors of himself. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Brulee was there creating the mirror Luffy's.
Oh yeah, so I guess it went from a literal fighting yourself to a metaphorical fighting yourself, and also somewhat literal, a different literal. Yeah, I think I agree that Kata Curry picked up after the unforgettable luncheon at the Donut House. Yeah, I've been a big fan of this fight, even though it has been going on for a long time, and I'm ready for it to end, which it might have. And I guess that brings us to today, and perhaps the very end of this arc. Who knows? I hope we have revved you up, so you're excited for the ultimate
ready.
and ready. For the, that is my catchphrase. Also, that we need to do more. And I hope you're ready for the end of the whole Cake Island arc. Yeah. Are there any final thoughts from you guys, Joey?
I think overall it's feeling like a very solid arc. I am feeling a little bit of that fatigue, but like not to the point where I think that Oda's really like gone wrong with it or anything like that.
Alex?
Looking forward to seeing the rest of it. I'll give you my full thoughts.
And Steve?
It's definitely one of the best in quite a long time, and while I'm growing a little impatient, it's far different than fatigue.
Yeah, there's a lot packed.
That's a good way to put it.
There's a lot packed into this arc, I think, compared to Dressrosa, which felt like we're climbing steps and then going down steps and then climbing steps. Like, going through this has been relatively exhausting because so much has happened in these 70 chapters. It's felt like 6 arcs meshed into one kind of thing, which I guess it's worthy because we're fighting our first Emperor pirate fleet. So it's you need to give it some gravitas. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for our Whole Cake Island retrospective. I want to thank you guys for coming. Joey, where can people find you?
They can follow me on Twitter at Joey Weiser or joeywiser.tumblr.com for updates about my comics. I'm a cartoonist, and I'm the author of the graphic novel series Merman. That 1 through 5 is available now, hardcover, softcover, digital, however you like to read comics. And please listen to a podcast that I do with Alex here and our friend Scott, Toho Yaro. We just did another Tora-san movie, and we're about to drop an episode. It'll be out soon, probably, of Blade of the Immortal. And then look forward to March, where we'll be talking about Battle Royale.
Thank you, Joey. Alex?
Dude Explanation is my Twitter. Go to that, and also listen to Tohiyaro. Joey knows what he's talking about. It's a good podcast. What else? God, it's been so long since I've plugged stuff. SuperArtFight.com. We just launched a new website. Check out our shows there. Got some shows coming up in the next few months, DC area. And there's a cool Twitter account called Weeb Simpsons. I don't know if you've heard about. I've been following it for a while. Check it out if you want. It's funny.
Steve?
Well, Zach, your Twitter handle is Zach, at Zach_Logan. I am at Steve Yurko. You can follow the One Piece Podcast. Listen to us at OnePiecePodcast.com, Twitter.com, YouTube.com, Facebook.com/One Piece Podcast, Reddit.com/r/One Piece Podcast, where we read Piece Together questions and you could discuss stuff with other fans and stuff, and that's cool. Also, find us on Discord. I forget how you find us on Discord.
Yeah, it's really impossible.
Yeah, so don't even bother.
No. There's a link on our site.
Sure. And send us an email at onepiecePodcast@gmail.com for your Piece Together questions. Also, subscribe to us on Patreon, of course, where you can get some bonus content. And before this recording, we have, 40 minutes worth of some bonus content for you?
Yep, it's all about pizza.
Pizza. Whole Pizza Island.
And if you're on Patreon, you're listening to this episode a week early, because when we have non-chapter episodes, we will try and get those out early for you. So hope you enjoy that as well.
But you could also listen to us on SoundCloud, Google Play, and Apple Podcast. Also, give us a call on Skype. Thank you. Also, give us a call on Skype. That's One Piece Podcast. You could leave us a voicemail. No one ever does, so why am I even telling you to? And that phone number is do I ask you, Zach?
Yeah, you ask me.
Yeah, Zach, what is that phone number that no one ever calls, but we just like saying it at the end of every episode?
That phone number is 347-497-MAJI. That phone number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Anytime.
With your questions, your comments, your theories, and why Capone is the family guy. He's our family guy as far as we're concerned.
Lucky there's...
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to sing that song.
Please don't. Because no one knows the words, except for some people. Anyway, we'll be back next week with our regularly scheduled episode. We hope you enjoyed this little escapade through Whole Cake Island, and we are excited to see how it ends, if it ends, when it ends. Anyway, until then, my name is Zach.
My name is Steve.
My name is Alex.
We'll see you next week, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
I'm going to go eat a sandwich.
Why not a donut?
Open face club sandwich.